I honestly think that's enough introduction for this game. I mean, this should be, without saying, one of the games that everyone should know, should have played, and actually knows what it's about. And of course, it's Bioshock, our 2007 contender, entered the arena. And obviously, as a franchise review, I'm only gonna look at Bioshock 1 and 2 and remasters in general for the simple reason, well, it's remastered and I wanna see what the thing is. Of course, I did kind of play through at least the first level or the first zone for the simple reason I wanted to make sure they actually can launch on Windows 10, because older games are very picky when it comes to it. So let's just go through the graphics options here real quick, see what we have. So this game particularly did not exactly like Windows 10 when it comes to it. It launched without issues and then I couldn't make it full screen, and it's actually went through all of them including remasters, which is a bit surprising. But what we have here is basically everything maxed out as much as I can, right? So there's no way I can put it on high because then it will enable vertical sync, which is very annoying. And I want to see how much power we have. Obviously my rig is not changed and we still have exactly the same setup as before. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is. Let's go through the first actual... Yeah, everything's on 2, should be fine. Let's go through a new game. We're gonna quickly go through one part of the game and see how it looks, so we have a fresh comparison, fresh numbers, and see how the remaster looks. So yeah, let's just go with the new game. Let's go for new and see what happens. So technically you should see the plane crash, and then we'll take a look how it all looks. So here we go.
They told me, son, you're special. You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
So here we are at the start of this actual sequence, and wow, this is fiery. A fire pit in the middle of ocean, so you do have some water droplets. Can I go back underwater? No, I cannot, because that's how humans work. That's fine. Let's just go get on. So we are using 821 megabyte of video memory. Kind of like an explosion there. And it looks pretty nice. What is this separating black thingy here? It's kind of like where the texture cut out for the skybox. Am I on fire? Oh, it's my suitcase. Come back. Can't take it anyway. Simple animations for this. And well, it kind of looks like a game. To be honest, when this game launched, it did actually get one of the best game titles in 2007. People like this because it gave you this steampunk feeling, you know, like old times, plasmids as your powers, you fight against kind of like, you know, multiple plot points and plot twists, and that kind of was very different in comparison with Battlefield, Call of Duty, and everyone else who came out in 2007. Of course, 2K... That was very interesting sound. 2K has given us a lot of good games, which is, well, basically Borderlands, Mafia, you name it. Not really a small developer, and oh my god, the mouse sensitivity is so over the top. And this actually doesn't look that bad. So before we go in and restart everything, let me take a look at all the reflections that this first original title give us. And there is some reflections somewhere, but not really much. It's kind of like there is a little bit. You can literally see they're moving around. Texture wise, it's not really that bad. You can literally make out the actual texture on the tile. So just to kick it off, so when Bioshock launched first, requirements for it to run was Pentium 4, RAM was required 1 GB, and operating system was Windows XP or Vista. Obviously Vista is a different story. And for GPU we needed at least 128 megs of it. So if we look at the current times, and we're launching this at 2020, and this is the original one, everything maxed out, we are using 824 megabytes of video memory, and we are using 4 gigs of RAM. So to be completely fair, I'm not sure people without this rig would be able to run it smoothly. Of course, obviously maxing everything out is a completely different story when it comes to it, but it's not that bad. However, this is the most amazing part. When you enter the first chamber and you see everything, and you clearly understand that, you know, you're in a completely different place now. You're somewhere you don't even know where the hell's like you're supposed to be, and that's massive things. It's kind of like communism, give or take. Like the Russian buildings usually have this massive feel to them, like ziggurats and stuff. So this kind of like literally looks like it. Very, very, I would say, you know, not cheap. Very scarce detailing on certain things. Obviously no dev would imagine that someone will actually come up close to this to investigate. Because for people who first started playing this game, this was like, oh my god, light, stuff, ocean. And I must say they're not really wrong. So what I want to see is actually the actual underwater sequence and how much we're gonna get out of it. So we do have some mist or fog down here. I don't know, maybe it's like steam coming. Kinda looks like steam. They're telling me the ocean is warmer than the air in here? That would be really weird. It's kinda nice to see this through the hole. And yeah, let's go in. Pum pum pum. Pull the lever, Kronk. Let's go for a ride. So it's gonna be a little bit of exposition here. And so far we're hitting pretty decent frame rates, like over 1000 obviously. Take notes, Crisis. And yeah, fathoms, it's basically a measurement for, well, apparently depth, which I have no idea, I'm not a sea biologist. So let's just go for it.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose rapture. A city where the artist would not fear censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, rapture can become your city as well.
Best get over there. And be quick about it. The splicers are
So obviously the opening sequence kind of should give you this feeling of where you are, give you a short overview of Rapture itself, like the underwater city. And now obviously we have like our first encounter with the, well, the first gore scene, so to say, where we witness the death of the poor guy. Now, fun fact, if you are actually playing this as a cracked version, the game would freeze at this particular moment. It would kind of soft lock, it would not progress, and the splicer would not kill the guy. They would kind of get frozen in the same pose like this. And, well, as you can see, it's not freezing in that particular spot, so obviously this is official version. It's actually a bundle from Steam. Thanks Black Friday for making me poorer every day. But however, I must say this is a nice thing to have in your collection. Because at first when you see the splicer you think like shit's fucked, yo, due to Resident Evil and Silent Hill memories. And then you see that they are pretty good at dying from, you know, like a shotgun shell. So you might see these flickers on the screen. This is due to excessive frame rate. So basically, back in 2007, I don't believe, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe there was any PC that could actually squeeze out 400 frames with the CPU power we have now. The same goes for GPU, so I hope you're gonna shut up, man. So yeah, obviously when we have too much processing power, the game kind of like breaks a bit. And it is kind of visible, obviously. I could... Jesus, man. Fine, let's just pick it up real quick.
I don't know how you survived that plane crash, but I've never been one to question Providence. I'm Atlas, and I aim to keep you alive. Now keep on moving. We're gonna have to get you to higher ground.
So here we go.
Take a deep breath and step out of the bathysphere. I won't leave you twisting in the wind. We're gonna need to draw out of hiding, but you're gonna have to trust me.
Right, so this is how it looks basically. So to be completely fair, it's not really that dark and gloomy as I remember it, or maybe I was in a completely different mindset. There's not really much you can see of the room. You can kind of see like the place where these bathyspheres are coming up or coming in, because there's like a big lid that opens up and lets people in or out. And I must say it doesn't really look that bad when you kind of like take a look at things in general, specifically considering the idea of how this game was made. And here's our texture glitches, obviously. I do believe it might be caused by Windows 10 as well, to be completely fair, but hey,
Just a bit further. Now, would you kindly find a crowbar or something?
would you kindly...
Splicer, seal Johnny in before they... Oh, damn, Splicer.
So to be completely fair, it doesn't really look that bad. It kind of looks exactly like I remember it. And playing on all maxed out, so we're getting like over 400 frames anyway. GPU usage is 44%, so it doesn't really go close to 80 or 90 as in I would expect in all the titles. And we will have, I do believe, a tail fragment coming into this thingy after we actually wake up. Well, you will see why we're gonna wake up, and we're gonna take a look at that as well. And yeah, so far I can't really say it's really bad, so let's just get on with it. Open plasmids. Obviously, plasmids was a good, interesting thing. There was a lot of concepts where they were scrapped and re-added and stuff. But yeah, it kinda is your main weapon, apart from all the other weapons. And yes, you can finish the game with just a pistol, if you max it out. I've done it myself, and I must say pistol is pretty good. Better than anything else. So let's go for the cutscene, and we can get on with it.
Steady now. Your genetic code is being rewritten. Just hold on and everything will be fine.
This little fish looks like he just had his cherry popped. Wonder if he's still got some Adam on him. Let's buck. Weak. You're a weak chopper. This little fish ain't worth towing it with no big daddy. Yellow. Always have been. You'll be no better off with metal daddy, little fish. See you floating from right.
Look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel. I can see light coming from his belly. Wait a minute, he's still breathing. It's all right. I know he'll be an angel soon.
You alright, Boyle? First time plasma's a real kick from a mule. But there's nothing like a fistful of lightning now, is there?
So we can finally press on. Oh god, the mouse sensitivity is too high. I need to adjust my arrow keys. So here we go. The big event that obviously made a lot of people very nervous, considering you are deep under ocean. I mean, again, you can see the fishes, and if you see shit slamming in, and you can't go back. As you can see, it's like, well, sealed. And you might panic a bit, specifically if you have claustrophobia, but, well, let's just go. Obviously, the water effects look, well, kinda weird, but, I mean, again, this is 2007, right? So for 2007, this was pretty decent. You can see all the cracks that are kinda like, gives you indication this tunnel is collapsing. Let me say it looks pretty decent. Like, again, this is exactly the way I remember this game being. This scene freaked me out the first time. I thought the airlock gonna pop, but it's basically just like, just is there. There's quite a lot of water and there's some fishes there as well. One poor fish is here. Can we just deep fry it with an electrical bolt? I wonder. Apparently we can, but we can't consume it. And I'm not gonna try it anyway. So let's just push on. So plasmids use Eve, so we're gonna quickly just take that. Professional junkie, I must say. There'll be a splicer coming. I remember that from the first time I played this game. Come on, don't waste my time. Zap and whack 'em. I would love to zap and whack someone, but I don't see where the hell he is. Sir? Hello, sir. Zap and whack, done. So yeah, to be honest, this is exactly that Bioshock feel. I do believe if you want to play it, you might need to adjust the mouse sensitivity. I don't know why it's so crazy here, but I'm not gonna ask too much questions about it. I mean, also, again, this flickering is very, very annoying, but we are pushing 800 frames at this point, so to be honest, I'm not surprised the game is breaking up.
I found her that way. That's all you got?
So, to be completely fair, it's not really that bad. I think, again, for 2007, this is pretty expected. I mean, obviously, we just have to live it, you know? Everyone played this game, I believe. Everyone.
But the splicers have cut me off from them. If you can reach them in Neptune's bounty, then maybe, just maybe. I know you must feel like the unluckiest man in the world right now. But you're the only hope I'll ever see my wife and child again. Go to Neptune's bounty.
Can't kill the guy, obviously. Scripted sequence. called the gun her baby. How cool is that?
It's changed everything. They destroyed our bodies, our minds. We couldn't handle it. Best friends butchering one another. Babies strangled in cribs. The whole city went to hell.
Yeah, so as you can see, the gun itself, like the module of the gun, is kind of bare bones. You can still make out it's a revolver, obviously it's called a pistol. But if you shoot it, you're actually going to see smoke coming from the barrel, which is kind of cool, and it follows the motion of the barrel as well. So I think it's pretty nice. I can't really say it's not nice, so... Yeah, and as I said, this is the original OG Bioshock, so it looks exactly as I remember it. So let's go and take a look at the remaster here. So Bioshock Remastered actually saw the daylight in 2016. And obviously a lot of people kind of grabbed it straight up. I don't really see why, but I do believe they thought that if it's a remaster, it's going to work on newer operating systems a bit better, which is actually pretty decent stuff to do. In terms of graphics, as you can see, everything is maxed out as much as I can, so we're going to do the same dance. And I'm going to start a new game, and we're just going to go through the same sequences, compare how it looks, usage of whatever resources we have, and we're just gonna go from there. So yeah, I'm gonna accept everything, and I'm new to shooters, obviously, if you couldn't say. So yeah, let's just pay attention to this and talk about when we see the lighthouse.
They told me, son, you're special. You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
And this is where the real game starts, obviously, so here we are. The mouse is not as sensitive as on the original one, thank god. We do have a bit more reflection on the water, I would say. The water looks kind of different on a texture level. I mean the surface level of the water, I can clearly see some very small changes. The fire still looks bad, the smoke is kind of the same. Let's see how that tank explodes, if it actually explodes. Who knows? And it doesn't explode the same way as in original, so that's one clue here. As you can see, the overall look of the game does look a bit more sharper, as you can see. So we don't have this separation of the skybox anymore, so also the sky has changed. We have a moon. The tail is still going down, so that is nice. They kept something from original here. And overall it looks a bit sharper. I can't really say there's too many details that I can notice straight away. I might be wrong. A bit more fog, and we don't push 400 frames anymore, but hey. Still above 60, right? Same audio for coming out of the water. Let's take a look, and oh my god, how this shit is shiny. Look at this stuff. Clearly someone did some shoe shine on these doors. They are shiny as hell. Okay, what with the lamp? Lamp is also very shiny. And yep, that is a reworked texture on the lighthouse. There's no more weird stuff on the tiles anymore, so that's clearly an improvement. So when it comes to Bioshock Remastered, let's look at the requirements. So requirements are basically RAM to be 8 gigabytes, and we are pulling 5.9, well, so basically 5.5, give or take. For GPU, they want us 2 gigabytes of Radeon HD 7970 or NVIDIA 770, which is not exactly that bad. And CPU should be a 3 GHz quad core. Yeah, good luck for that, AMD fans. Anyway, Remastered actually saw the daylight, as I said, in 2016. And if we look at the memory for GPU, we're pushing 1.3. So we're not really using that much more memory considering or comparing to the original one. And this does look a tiny bit different, but I do believe it's due to the lightning effect. So let's go in, see what we have here. Close the door, turn on the lights, please. So much more light effects we can see here. Clearly a bit more reflection, or the light reflection. It bounces off a bit from the objects. Let's come here. Well, this edge is still not really that much different, but you can see there's a bit more work put into it, so this might actually be an upscaled resolution. Let's go down. Oh, this clearly looks better. Way better than original. This light coming from the bottom and going up. Nice to see. Let's come down here. Shiny, shiny, shiny. Shiny science things. The fog or the mist is still here. Much more detail now. Yeah, it's basically sharper actually. And GPU usage is actually up to like 60-70% now, which I really like. And RAM wise, well, we're pushing to 6 gigs now, so that's not exactly bad or good. So let's look at the stuff, and let's go for the sequence here.
To ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose rapture.
So clearly much more difference here. You can see there's a vegetation, underwater seaweed growing out. So there is some remaster for this scene because this is the opening scene. The light dispersion the same. We have some Medusas now. And we see the Big Daddy in a bit more colors and reflections when he's welding something shut, so we all don't drown, which is good. Obviously, when you start the game, you don't know who that is. You assume it's one of the workers down there. Yeah, it's much more light, I would say. Much more reflections overall. Illumination, so to say. It's not really that bad. And obviously the opening cinematic with the gore. Let's see how it looks like, and we'll go from there. Would you kindly fuck off? So what I noticed just now actually is we have the blue thing, which is, well, technically the Eve or mana, call it as you want, for our magical plasmid stuff, and we already have it. So the audio quality is actually a bit better. And seeing that we had the same stripes on the screen at the beginning of this sequence, I do believe there's something in the game code that actually causes it. Because Remastered should have been adjusted for high frame rates, so... So as you can see, there's much more, well, quality here. We can actually see this landing bay. There's much more light coming through the skylight now. Well, if you can call the skylight, because there's, well, water. And if sunlight is penetrating us so deep, either the ocean water is see-through, which is definitely not, or this is the light that's being reflected from all the buildings, because by science idea, well, we shouldn't be seeing any light, to be honest, unless we're like, what, 25 meters, which is clearly not the case. And overall, I must say, it looks the same, but a bit more light. Also, we have Patrick the Star, so I believe we are actually in Bikini Bottom, and I hope we can find SpongeBob here somewhere. You know what? Fuck SpongeBob. I'm gonna go and look for Squidward. That's my kind of guy. He knows what's up in life and work. Anyway, let's go. So the same texture flickering. Cool. Much more detail when the bullets are hitting the surface. So yeah, it actually does look a bit sharper, give or take, to be completely fair. We do have some light coming through. And the city feels more alive, you can literally see. So adding this extra vegetation actually does give a completely different feel. So I must say this is a nice touch. Of course the door control is fucked, so we're gonna get a plasmid, and well, you know what happens now, so let's just do that and move on.
This little fish looks like he just had his cherry popped. Wonder if he's still got some atom on.
So even as a pre-rendered cutscene, it has much more detail to it, like much sharper model textures. They don't look perfect, don't get me wrong, but you can clearly make out much more details than in the first part. So this has seen a retouch as well, which is pretty nice.
No better off with a metal daddy, little fish. See you floating, alright.
Look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel. I can see light coming from his belly. Wait a minute, he's still breathing. It's alright. I know he'll be an angel soon.
So as you can see, due to all this added texture, I mean, I can't really say it's a resolution change on the texture. I think it's like a completely different textures or just a retouch. We're not pushing 400 frames anymore. We're kind of like in 200s, which is still fucking amazing, obviously, but still. And I can actually finally aim decently, unlike in the first part. So let's go and look at that tail crash. Oh, we have some explosion effect there. This actually looks believable, to be honest. That's pretty neat. The water effect, the trickle down is still the same, but I wouldn't expect them to rework that in Unity Engine or anything like that, so that's fine. My suitcase is going away. Oh, we have an actual explosion of a tunnel going down. Great. Which on the previous part was just a bunch of bubbles crushed by pressure or something. This looks a bit better, but I would say it's the same animations, just a bit more textures involved. That's fine. Can we still not cook the fish? Nope. Bad remaster. We still cannot cook the fish. Let's go and get that Eve hype, and let's see if we can catch that splicer of guard. I was kind of expecting him to go on that room, but hey, whatever. You found what exactly? Let's go on. A bit more effects, I mean more flashy than before. There should be a burning guy coming through here. Wow, feisty one. How you like that? Da 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 da. Ah, that's good shit. Let's get in. And yeah, to be honest, it actually looks just sharper with better lighting, which, to be honest, is pretty welcome for this game. So here we are. So whoop. Okay, so the gun does reflect a bit more than before. Literally the same module, just kind of like a retouch. Smoke still follows the barrel, so that's pretty much all there is. Yeah. To be honest, I would say I kind of like this remaster better than the original game. For the simple reason you have a bit more sharper images, a bit better quality, I would say, for full HD gaming, so it's not as blurred. And well, I mean, certain things are still shit, like the plants look kind of weird, maybe because there's no outline on the leaves, but well, they don't really have it in real life as well, so I'm not gonna nitpick that. Anyway, is it worth to play? Fuck yeah. I mean, this definitely looks better than the original, so even if it's a tiny bit, this is clearly, if you never played Bioshock and you have, like, you know, a little bit of money to burn, and to be honest, Bioshock bundle in general with the remasters don't cost arm and a leg. Definitely grab this one, play through it. You'll see what it's on about. But yeah, I would say I'm happy with this remaster. So let's just go and take a look at Bioshock 2 now. So when it comes to Bioshock 2, this is a pretty interesting title. I would actually argue that this might be one of the best Bioshocks out there. Well, there's only 3 of them, like the Bioshock, Bioshock 2 and Bioshock Infinite, which is up in the sky. But the one thing that kind of puts me off that you actually start as a Big Daddy. And when it comes to the first Bioshock, there was a mission part where you had to impersonate a Big Daddy. There's a whole quest line for that. When it comes to Bioshock 2, you just start as one straight off the bat, and that is kind of a bit weird. Of course, it kind of tries to play on your emotions, give or take. We're gonna see that in a second. And yeah, well, in terms of options, as you can see, the menu is literally the same as in the previous Bioshock, to be honest. And well, of course I cranked everything as I could. Again, a bit of a problem of actually getting this game run in full screen for reasons unknown, and I can see there's like some controller buttons here as well, so it's clearly kind of like a port, or maybe just meant to be played with a controller. Who knows? Guess we will never know, so let's just start with a new game and see how it looks.
Look, Daddy, it's you. Let's go out to play, Daddy. More angels, Daddy. This way.
There we are. He's perfectly safe now. This is not your daughter. Do you understand? Her name is Eleanor, and she is mine. Now, kneel, please. Remove your helmet. Now, take the pistol. Place it against your head. Fire.
Well, this is basically the Bioshock 2. I don't know if you guys actually had any audio in this. I'm not gonna know until I finish the recording. But basically, this is what happens. You're the big daddy, you're protecting the little sister, and then you are forced to execute yourself. So sorry for the weird cut, actually the game crashed on me, so well, it didn't really lose much. So as I said, we were forced to shoot ourselves in the head, and now we are awoken after 10 years and we're gonna find the little sister apparently. So here we have the game, and we are next to Vita chamber, and well, this is why we actually apparently came to life for reasons unknown. So let's take a look. So this is the original Bioshock 2. As you can see, it doesn't really look that bad. Give or take, we have the drill and everything, because we are actually a big daddy at this point. And when we look at the game requirements, so what it wants is, well, a dual core, 2.6 GHz, RAM 3 GB, operating system Windows XP Vista or Windows 7, and for GPU it wants at least GeForce 88 GT 512 MB or Radeon HD 4830. So let's take a look. Currently we are using 1.2 gigs of video memory and we're using 4.3 gigs of RAM. Yep, we're still over the required, well, recommended settings. Now I was thinking about this a while back, and I believe the issue is with all the settings that I have cranked up, like including anisotropic filtering and stuff like that, which, well, would kill the GPU back in the day. And I did actually have 88 GT 512 MB, and I can honestly tell you I could not max this game out. There was no way in hell I could actually do it. So just quickly looking how all of this looks. Wait, what the hell is this? Is that a coral? That's a bit weird. Smash the coral, blocking the door. I wonder how the coral would grow without water, but okay. Let's assume all this area was underwater, so not a big issue. So far everything looks fine. We are pushing again 400 frames. Someone just ran away. Let's go in. That's the big sister. Our best new friend or enemy, depends how you call it. And yeah, honestly, it's pretty okay. I mean, I can't really complain. So we need to go and actually get a plasmid because we need to start the power in here and then we go somewhere else. So, and obviously on the way we're gonna be killing some splicers because 1540. I don't even know why I'm unlocking all these doors. Oh, there's a corpse. Because it's kind of pointless. Let's adjust this guy's face real quick and move on. So overall, of course, the Bioshock 2 is the same. Well, I can't really say the same, but the same setting, and it still used the Unreal Engine because, well, I believe it kind of has a spot in developers' hearts when it comes to working with lightning and, you know, tight spaces, and, you know, like combat mechanics are a bit more forgiving. Like if you remember Unreal Tournament, that was a good game, looked pretty good, and it was like large scale stuff, so of course you can make it pretty and it doesn't require a bunch of resources to be run. Game crashing on me, well, I'm gonna blame Windows 10 anyway, but however, a lot of people on different forums are bitching about that the game crashes for no apparent reason, and they are very unhappy about it. So, well, maybe there is something to it, who knows. I don't really remember the game crashing on me when I was playing it, so maybe I was just one of the lucky ones. And smoking reduces your health, which is kind of true. What the hell happened with this guy though? Anyway, let's get our plasmid and let's get that out of here. Obviously for this big daddy there's a dedicated slot where he can inject this stuff, so that's a bit weird. Apart from the, well, Booker's arm, but that's a different issue altogether. So obviously we have to hunt her down, and as you can see we have the dual wielding, so that will come, well, very handy back in the next couple of things that we're gonna do. And I must say playing as a big daddy is a bit annoying at some point, but it's not exactly, you know, like bad or something, so come on. I saw you just being there, so I already know what I need to do, obviously. I played this quite a lot of times for the simple reason there's a bit new different weapons that kind of gives you a bit better gameplay possibilities. Oh, the splash looks like shit. Of course, we need to go and find someone, and ultimately we're gonna fight the big sister. Doesn't matter, so let's take a look how it looks. Looks pretty decent. I'm just burning this image in my head so I can compare to the remaster next. And yeah, to be honest, you can see there's reflections on the drill, kind of like the light reflections a bit. So I wonder if this is enhanced or the same or stolen or kept for the remaster, because this is already looking pretty good on a drill, to be completely fair. I don't really see much point. And since this is like the two things you have, right? The drill and the hand, I would expect the remaster to actually focus on these areas because they're constant in your field of view when you play, and probably not really pay that much more attention to other little details. And yeah, well, the water is pretty waterish. So yeah, I think it's time for us to take a look at the remaster now. So, Bioshock 2 Remastered, well, nothing really to write home about. A supposedly remastered version of Bioshock 2. So when it comes to options, we're gonna quickly run through. So the graphics are, as you can see, everything's maxed out as much as I can. Vertical sync is off, and that's pretty much all there is. So, you know the thing. I'm gonna go for the first sequence, and we're gonna compare it to the original one, because since that was a pre-rendered sequence, I don't think you can put too much difference in it. You have to basically remaster it. And I would say you can't really enrich a pre-rendered cutscene, but let's see if maybe this game will actually prove me wrong. So here we go. I think I'm right on a bug here, because I don't see a single difference between the previous scroll hole and this one. So I think they didn't actually touch the cutscenes. Let's wait and see.
Let's go out to play, Daddy. More angels, Daddy. This way.
This cutscene literally looks the same as the previous one. I wonder what's gonna happen with the jump down and the splash on the guy's head. That's gonna be the best. Exactly same animation, literally exactly the same blood splatter. Let's wait for the drill. Yeah, same catch-up. So no changes there, and at this point I believe we can just skip it, because honestly, yeah, there's no point of watching the same stuff over again, specifically there's no changes to it. So if they did not enhance the rendered cutscenes, I really hope to see some actual difference on the game itself. So let's see when we wake up and how we actually all look. A bit more sharpness. Yeah, the hands look a bit more sharper though than the original. Water reflections are kind of the same, and image is just sharper. The drills still have the same fancy reflections. No big changes there. Also, we don't have a reflection in the water apparently because we're a vampire. That's kind of cool. I mean, we should be reflected at some degree. It does reflect apparently the fallen stuff there in the cupola, which is kind of nice touch for the simple reason that, you know, not many games do that. And this is no RTX. There's no RTX support for this one. So when it comes to Bioshock 2 Remastered, the game requirements are pretty simple. RAM should be 8 gigs. And we need basically Radeon HD 7970 or 770 of NVIDIA 2 gigabytes. And what do we have? We're using 2.7 gigs on full HD, mind you. And, well, 5 gigs of RAM, so at least one of these things fall into the spec. So it's not entirely that bad overall. So let's just go through and see if we can spot any big differences. The water kind of looks the same with very, very, very small changes. I wouldn't even call them changes, to be honest. Yeah, I can't really spot anything. The corals are a bit more detailed when it comes to it. You can literally see the laziness that goes into it. Yeah. I must say the first one, actually, as a remaster, did make a difference. Even the water drip animation down the helmet is the same as the original one. Well, it does look a bit different though. Can't really say it's not. Okay. And again, we're not getting 400 frames anymore. We kind of like sub 400. So it's not really that bad. We're using 2.7 gigs of memory for our GPU. Audio does sound a bit different. But so far I can't really say there's too much of an improvement. However, how much can you improve the game, you know? It kind of falls on a personal preference, give or take. So let me just do this real quick. I want to see if they reuse the corpse physics when the doors opens. Yep, same physics. So the corpse fell the same way as it did before. We have this guy. Adjust him a bit. Yep, good as new. Well, his face kind of looks fucked up, to be completely fair. And as you can see on the modules, so yeah, this is not really reworked or retouched at any point, I would say. Yeah, well, can't say disappointing, but just something I would definitely point my attention to. Everything else, again, a bit sharper image. Lightning is, I would say, kind of the same. I don't even see this overbright stuff anywhere, which I might be wrong, but I would say the first Bioshock Remastered was clearly much more lit with light, and this is not. This is still dark and grim. Maybe that's the point. Our memories, this guy's still yeah, well, the smoke effect looks a bit better. That's the only thing. And the light shaft, well, there is certain elements that looks a bit better, to be honest, but wouldn't call it a remaster, to be completely fair. Obviously, if I played like for prolonged periods of time, I might see something else, like little things to nitpick. But overall, it's not really that bad anyway, so let's just push on. I just like the way he casually injects himself with stuff, you know. On the bright side, he's not falling down and breaking his neck like in the first Bioshock when we just fell down from the second floor. A bit more detail on this cutscene though. Oh, now we're very pissed. Very pissed. Too pissed. That woman is right there. Let me adjust your makeup real quick. There you go. And let's look at this all come to life. Yeah, I must say it doesn't really look that much different. Okay, splashdown. So the water physics did look a bit different, but that's about it. Okay, this is clearly remastered. This trickle down water, it wasn't coming like this. You could not make out the actual texture of the water. This is reused. Anyway, to be completely fair, what do you expect from an older title like this? Obviously the remaster came out on consoles as well, so I kind of understand why they need to keep majority of things there and just like kind of add some tiny details that only long-time players would notice. But again, you kind of need to be a very hardcore fan to notice these differences. Overall, I would say it's not really bad. Is it remastered better than the first one? Definitely not, because for the first Bioshock there was clear differences how it looks. For the second one, it does look a bit different, but that's about it. And I think that's basically the end of it. So hey, thanks for watching and see you next time.